me some limit. I need to work on that. So I'm using Google Meet back again for some time. Okay, so grade 8 spot next. So last class, so you can easily understand by the like whatever I open right now, you will understand what subject it is also exactly. So social studies. That's what I told. We will never try to mix up things at all, so you get confused with what is the subject at times. Some of you will enter the class even without knowing the subject. I think you will just see the teacher and then you'll understand. That's why I'm trying not to change, not to mix them together at all. So social studies. So this was the last assignment based on GUTI. So the activity was, so after we explained, then I kept few questions to check your understanding. Okay, so although you have not met the deadline, I really want to make sure that you finish it within that week. Okay, like let's say the assignment is given on Monday, then on by Saturday or Sunday it should be already complete by that time. Although I really prefer it on deadline, but after that I will, by on Sundays I'll have to start reminding it to the parents saying the missing assignments are left. Normally on Sundays. Okay, that's the time when I'll see that you have already finished, even if they are pending. Like the teacher gave it on Monday, and the deadline was just 2 days also, and but by within 1 week I need to, like, I will be checking out. I'll not be checking only from my subject. I'll be checking overall. Okay, overall, like how many assignments you have left on Sunday normally. Okay, whatever is the pending work, we have to try to finish within the weekend. Okay, now because if I keep on following here, it means that maybe some I have not understood, so I cannot immediately ask where is the assignment at times. But by Sunday it should be already there. Okay, now because if it was a physical school, teacher would not be immediately at times collecting the copy even. It would take normally 1 week also. That's, I think, how it is normally taken by the teachers. If the teacher has very less period, I think they will be able to collect within the same grade. Okay, just maybe 2 periods a day in primary school, then of course teacher has a lot of time to correct as well. Okay, now here, so you cannot expect exact like a preschool, the teacher would be finishing the correction exactly on the same day. Okay, one day. Okay, now here we'll continue with this activity. I will show you the chart itself. I'm not trying to keep everything in PowerPoint. Okay, it's like if we start making only PowerPoint, then I will have a lot of it will take me a lot of time itself. So 5E model based lesson plan. So last class, this was the activity that we finished. Ask the students to share their findings, and like based on that you were supposed to share your importance, right? Importance, then you discussed, and finally like there's one activity. The social traditional organization that you have, is it a good tradition or a bad tradition? Why do you think so? This one, I hope I'm presenting exactly the same thing. Whatever is the traditional organization that you have, Guti, Vesa, whatever topic you got, do you think that is a good tradition or a bad tradition? So you have to think. Okay, one of the objective of lesson, like I just recently also I saw some content being written. Okay, I of course agree with that, saying that the purpose of education is not just to make students memorize the facts, right? Is to make them think critically. So critical thinking needs to be there at all times. In case of social studies, it is more required. Those are the types of questions going to come even in SE, and it makes it difficult at times to get better marks because it has already changed, because that's the subject where you can be doing all those activities. So please start thinking critically based on this. Do you think whatever topic you got, is that a good tradition or bad tradition? I will give you exactly like we all activities for 10 minutes, means you will not be just going there and sharing for 10 minutes. So go and share for 5 minutes, and you will be back in the main room, and one of you will just share. Okay, and make sure it's not always the same person sharing. Try to make sure some other person are also having the courage to take the risk of coming and speaking. Motivate them. Okay, can you enter your breakout rooms? Okay, I need to give you the link first. Okay, so start first. Before you go to the breakout room, start thinking yourself first. First, can you start thinking yourself, is that a good tradition or bad tradition? Then only after that you'll go to the breakout rooms and share it. For 2 minutes you think on your own now, and after 2 minutes I'll give you the breakout rooms link exactly, and 5 minutes sharing, and come back and share in the main room. It's not all
Sir,
class.
I didn't understand.
Okay, whatever is the topic, do you know you have been doing this Guthi, Vesa,
Yes, sir.
Agar, Rodigar, and Dikuti based on your group's topic. You know your group's topic, right?
Yes, sir.
I don't think you will forget because you have already presented it once and you have already discussed among each other. When you when you are involved, then you always remember. When you're lectured, then you forget. Okay, so I know you already remember because you have been already involved in that. So is that a good tradition or a bad tradition? You have to think and then start noting down the points in your copy, and later on share it with the group once I keep the link. Because you know it
Okay,
takes also 1 or 2 minutes to open the link.
Sir,
Yes, Grivani.
can we do both advantage and like
Yeah, both.
not?
Yeah, you can think from both aspects. It's always fine. If you tell me that, I told you I don't also always look at what is the field one. Also, sometimes you have to see the empty. Also, that's what I told, right? You can see some people are thinking every time from only positive side. Sometimes I told that I will see from both sides. In my case, I will also, of course, welcome that. But let's go for the positive mainly. Okay, now I will give you the link. Now you enter the rooms and share it with the room members, and you don't have to ask me the permission. You know that if you use the school account, we will never ask you tell you to need to wait for somebody to give you permission. So anytime you 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you wish, you can collect yourself and meet over there. If you allow them or accept them, if you have that privilege, when they join outside Rajashri Gurukul, then only it's a different case. I don't think you have that privilege to accept them at all. So you can meet at your own time, anytime. If there are any pending like group works, skit is still left. I'm waiting for that skit group. Okay, until you don't say me anything, I told you I'll not keep on waiting for few of the people because there's a course for me to also finish. Like, so I will keep on continuing if you don't like present. If you don't present, I told you I will continue with my lecture even. Okay, so exactly at 1:30 we'll be back here and present. The question is itself saying you good trade, is it a good tradition or bad tradition? Good tradition means of course advantage, bad tradition is trying to say disadvantage. Good tradition merit, bad tradition demerit. Okay, so same thing. And when it's a group work, if I see that you're not in the group activity, then sometimes I might have to even mark it for that in the credit. Okay, so please just stay in the group work, just stay in the group. Please do not be discussing about personal things at all. Okay, in some groups they're speaking personal things. I am listening to everyone's at the same time. But before I speak, I mute it in all. Okay, now it's time. Let's come back to the main room and start sharing in 1 minute. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute to pack up and come. At exactly 1:31, we will start the first group. We'll just go see. I will pick up randomly. You have to be ready. Okay, all the groups. So it's not a guarantee of going serially. So you have to be ready anytime. If not, you are not ready, then I will just pick up the next group for timing. But it shows like you're not ready. So let's wrap up quickly. Last line. All of you, please be back to the main room now. So how much you have decided, that's enough. Okay, you don't have to take too much time. Sometimes the time is given based on how important is the topic as well, and we need to work on time management also. So within that limited time, we have this work thing to finish up as well. If we go in detail, like it keeps on going. Sometimes that's when we have to summarize. because we have a limited timeline and we have to work on time management also. Okay, first group, let's start with Rodigar.
Sir,
Group.
can I take?
Okay, before I begin, all of you please be back to the main room, because when they are presenting, it's for everyone. Okay, not for me. They are not presenting for me. It's for everyone that they are presenting, so that everyone understands it. So now all of you please turn on your camera in the main room. And before they begin, like when I went throughout the rooms, I could not see few people in the rooms. Okay, like in case of group A, I could find everyone at least. Okay, more or less, at least they have entered once. But in group B, maybe Kusang is absent today also. I have not checked out. Kusang is there right now. Kusang, you are not in your group. Group B. Kusang. And group C, Vaibhavi was not there when I went around. Okay, Vaibhavi is also absent today or what? Okay, just wait. Okay, I'm just checking my attendance as well. Okay, Vaibhavi was not there at all in the room. That means, okay, Geet also I didn't find in group D. Okay, but Geet is also not there. Group E, I didn't find Korna also. I think Korna, what happened? Is he absent today? Korna is also not there. No, he's there. Korna, what happened? Korna is not here also now. I think he came inside the room. Right now, I'm checking the other attendance, not who's exactly in. Okay, I'm checking did they enter once or not. Okay, just to see that. And then Prasiddha, like also. Okay, so common people, Prasiddha, Geet, and Vaibhavi. Okay. Okay, let's start with the group C. Not group C. I told Rodigar, right? Whatever group is that. Rodigar, can you explain what are the advantages and disadvantages?
Sir, can I start?
Yes.
Rudiger is a good tradition because it helps in making the relationship among the people of the community strong and harmonious. It has its own importance as it preserves the culture and maintains the tradition of Gurung community and also makes the community people closer. It is also a source of entertainment where young boys and girls play, dance, and sing together. Thank you.
So in Rodigar, people they can interact with each other and they can really like they can have their stress down. So because many people are stressed in their work, so they may have some helps in that in Rodigar, and because they interact and dancing, so they will forget all their pains and tension, and they will have a good like good life.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
That I wanted you to think critically, means like not say the same thing. Okay, so that means you have to think something out than what is written directly. What does that mean? Okay, like is it a good tradition or bad tradition? From that perspective, uh, you have to tell. Even if it's written, what is that tradition about? You have to say, is that good or not? So you have to tell that sentence over there. Give that point in the book also, and give a reason to that. So that's what I want. Okay, now next, that's what we want, so that it shows that you are thinking critically for that topic point, and you can give reason or even some example if you want. Okay, now next group, after Rodigar, we have Deputy, because always it's the same people who are studying, and sometimes last group in another section, then they are not even ready at times, not in this section. This section, the last group is always more the one voluntarily coming at first. Okay, please. Okay, let's start. It's muted, Riva.
Diggity is the system where money is raised from the diggity members to collect the fund for specific purpose period okay. In ancient period of time there were no banks and finances, so people used to practice diggity in order to borrow money and fulfill their needs. But as there were more possibilities of cheating and fraud, the system is declared illegal by the government.
Okay. So, what did you say? Is it good or bad tradition?
So it is a good tradition
Bad.
because there were more possibilities of cheating and fraud. It is now declared illegal.
Okay.
You mean bad review?
Yeah.
It used to be helpful in the ancient time, but in this present age, it's there are more possibilities of cheating and fraud. So
So you
it
also
has
think this type of organization should be stopped. Sometimes you can be asked this type of question, okay? Even though it's not there, that's what social studies is all about. In SE, the more it will come even like that. That's why people are scoring less marks at times. So it is going to ask you for critical thinking. Okay, now groups. Okay, not group. Okay, Guti. Who is in that group of Guti? Can you please explain?
Jagriti.
Okay, please explain. Whoever you have appointed for this time. Like you have to rotate
Yes, sir.
within the group. Okay? You have to order different types of roles. Later on, I will send you your assessment to see if you are fulfilling those criteria as the collaboration skills and social skills or not. Okay, so just make sure everyone is adopting variety of roles, not the same role always. Okay, please start.
Can I? Oh, okay, sir. Um,
Yeah.
Guti. Why do you think is Guti a bad or a good tradition? Yes, we do think new tradition which has brought the preservance of Newari culture. It also encourages for members of the same culture to look out for each other. Guti has been in practice since the Lichavi period. To preserve a culture is very important. Ancient cultures are a depiction of our past and help us understand our ancestors. Hence why Guti is a lively positive practice.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sir, you are.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. That was with Group A, Jagriti. Group E, Riva spoke for today. Group D, both of them spoke, right? Prasanna and Janish. Okay. Group B, because I am taking time to open the Excel file to enter the marks directly. So, Group B.
Okay, sir. Bheza is a good tradition because it helps in performing rites, festivals, rituals, and etc. Bheza also helps in this tradition also helps in conduct economic activities and resource mobilization. Mukhya is also responsible to protect religious and traditional practices, so it is a good tradition.
What did you say about Mukhya Digas?
It is responsible to protect religious and traditional practices.
Mukhya is responsible for that. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So
That.
it is a good tradition, yes, sir.
Okay. So Vesa is a good tradition from your perspective. Okay. Others, do you think you want to debate? Although we are not having a debate here right now, also. But do you have anything to counter attack for that? We don't want to do that right now in all the topics. We will have different type of activity in different cases. So do you have anything like based on what they presented? Your opinion? Please share, sir. Okay, this all things will be like recorded. Like I mean to say, not recording with the thing there. Like I'll be checking out to keep in the participation. Okay, like it shows that you are actively listening. Okay, so that based on what they spoke, you can speak because you were listening. So it shows easily that is a good participation. So immediately if you can speak something means you were listening to them. So please do that. Okay, I'll be marking that. Often I'll be writing in my diary later on when I see several times I've written in participation means it shows that you are like participation score is very good. Okay, now next group C, Bhadgar, and take notes also, because I told you you'll be asked to submit the notes either at the end of the lesson or either at the end of the unit. If it is a big unit, if it's a big lesson, at the end of the lesson. If the lessons are very small like social, then at the end of the unit. Okay, because like too much time you send and too much time it comes also, I get confused. So all at a bulk I'll be taking. Okay, group C, can you explain? Yes.
The role of Badgar is to work for the welfare of the village. The Badgar direct the villagers to repair canals or streets when needed. They also oversee and manage the cultural tradition. Superstition also take places in name of tradition. So there are some changes in Badgar. Thank you.
Okay, anyone has anything to say? Even if the teacher doesn't say, please someone, I told you you will be kept in the for good participation. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to show you one video based on one religion. I told you we are trying to continue both the topics together. Doesn't mean it's on the same day. Stop presenting. Okay, now. So do you have any question relating to the social traditions and customs? Any questions? If not, I will show a video now based on religion. Any question? Okay, if no question, okay, then I will show the video immediately. Sometimes it was 1 minute was a think time for you to think and ask question, and 1 minute was for me to also open the file here. Okay. Okay, now.
In all times and places in our history, human beings have wondered,
In all
where did we
times
come
and
from?
places in our
What's our
history,
place
human
in the
beings have
world?
wondered,
What
where
happens to us after we die? Religions are systems of belief that have developed and evolved over time in response to these and other eternal mysteries.
Was it echoing before some time, Riva?
Yes, sir. Now it's not equal.
Okay, I'll start from beginning. That was because of my mic. I will turn it off soon.
In all times and places in our history, human beings have wondered, where did we come from? What's our place in the world? What happens to us after we die? Religions are systems of belief that have developed and evolved over time in response to these and other eternal mysteries, driven by the feeling that some questions can only be answered by faith, and based on an intuition that there's something greater than ourselves, a higher power we must answer to, or some source we all spring from and to which we must return. Hinduism means the religions of India. It's not a single religion, but rather a variety of related beliefs and spiritual practices. It dates back.
All of you, please turn on your camera. Agrima, Diggaz, Janice, I can't see the camera. Rihad, Dibsal, okay.
Back 5 millennia to the time of Krishna, a man of such virtue that he became known as an avatar of Vishnu, an incarnation of the god in human form. He taught that all life follows karma, the law of cause and effect, and our job is to do our duty, or dharma, according to our place in society, without worrying how things turn out. When we die, we're reincarnated into a new body. If we followed our dharma and did our proper duty in our past life, we get good karma, which sends our soul upward in the social scale. Our rebirth into the next life is thus determined by what we do in this one. The wheel of rebirths is called samsara. It's possible for a very holy person to lead a life with enough good karma to escape the wheel. The escape is called moksha. Hinduism teaches that everything is one. The whole universe is one transcendent reality called Brahman. And there's just one Brahman, but many gods within it. And their roles, aspects, and forms differ according to various traditions. Brahma is the creator. Vishnu is the preserver who sometimes takes on human form. And Shiva is the transformer, or lord of the dance. Durga is the fiercely protective divine mother. Ganesha has an elephant head and is the wise patron of success. Hinduism is the third largest religion in the world, and although most Hindus live in India, they can be found on every continent, 1 billion strong. Now let's travel west, across deserts and mountains to the Fertile Crescent about 4,000 years ago. Judaism began with God calling Abraham and Sarah to leave Mesopotamia and migrate to the land of Canaan. In return for their faith in the one true God, a revolutionary concept in the polytheistic world of that time, they would have land and many descendants. From this promise came the land of Israel and the chosen people. But staying in that land and keeping those people together was going to be very difficult. The Israelites were enslaved in Egypt, but God freed them with the help of the prophet Moses, who received the 10 Commandments, and later hundreds more. They conquered the Promised Land, but could only keep it for a few hundred years. Israel sits at a crossroads through which many armies marched over the centuries, and in the year 70, the Romans destroyed the temple in their capital, Jerusalem. So the religion transformed itself from a temple religion with sacrifices and priests to a religion of the book. Because of this, Judaism is a faith of symbolism, reverence, and deep meanings tied to the literature of its history. The many sacred scriptures make up the Hebrew Bible or Tanakh, and hundreds of written discussions and interpretations are contained in an expansive compendium of deeper meanings called the Talmud. Jews find rich symbolic meaning in daily life. At the Passover meal, every item on the menu symbolizes an aspect of the escape from slavery. The importance of growing up is emphasized when young people reach the age of bar and bat mitzvah, ceremonies during which they assume responsibility for their actions and celebrate the weaving of their own lives into the faith, history, and texts of the Jewish people. There are 14 million Jews in the world today, 6 million in Israel, which became independent following the horrors of genocide in World War II, and 5 million in the United States. But now let's go back 2,500 years and return to India, where Buddhism began with a young prince named Siddhartha. On the night he was conceived, his mother, Queen Maya, is said to have been visited in her sleep by a white elephant who entered her side. 10 months later, Prince Siddhartha was born into a life of luxury. Venturing forth from his sheltered existence as a young man, he witnessed the human suffering that had been hidden from him and immediately set out to investigate its sources. Why must people endure suffering? Must we reincarnate through hundreds of lives? At first, he thought the problem was attachment to material things, so he gave up his possessions. He became a wandering beggar, which he discovered certainly made him no happier. Then he overheard a music teacher telling a student, "Don't tighten the string too much, it will break. But don't go too slack, or it will not sound." In a flash, he realized that looking for answers at the extremes was a mistake. The middle way between luxury and poverty seemed wisest, and while meditating under a Bodhi tree, the rest of the answer came to him. All of life abounds with suffering. It's caused by selfish craving for one's own fulfillment at the expense of others. Following an 8-step plan can teach us to reduce that craving and thus reduce the suffering. On that day, Siddhartha became the Buddha, the enlightened one. Not the only one, but the first one. The Buddha's plan is called the Eightfold Path, and though it is not easy to follow, it has pointed the way for millions to enlightenment, which is what Buddhahood means: a state of compassion, insight, peace, and steadfastness. From the time he got up from under that tree to the moment of his death as an old man, the Buddha taught people how to become enlightened. Right speech, right goals, a mind focused on what is real, and a heart focused on loving others. Many Buddhists believe in God or gods, but actions are more important than beliefs. There are nearly 1 billion Buddhists in the world today, mostly in East, Southeast, and South Asia. 2,000 years ago in Judaism's promised land, Christianity was born. Just as Hindus call Krishna God in human form, Christians say the same thing about Jesus, and Christianity grew out of Judaism just as Buddhism grew out of Hinduism. The angel Gabriel was sent by the God of Abraham to ask a young woman named Mary to become the mother of his son. The son was Jesus, raised as a carpenter by Mary and her husband Joseph until he turned 30, when he began his public career as the living Word of God. Less interested in religiousness than in justice and mercy, Jesus healed the sick in order to draw crowds and then taught them about his heavenly Father, affectionate, forgiving, and attentive. Then he would invite everyone to a common table to illustrate his kingdom of God. Outcasts, sinners, and saints all eating together. He had only 3 years before his unconventional wisdom got him into trouble. His enemies had him arrested and he was executed by Rome in the standard means by which rabble-rousers were put to death, crucifixion. But shortly after he was buried, women found his tomb empty and quickly spread word, convinced that he had been raised from the dead. The first Christians described his resurrected appearances, inspiring confidence that his message was true. The message? Love one another, as I have loved you. Christians celebrate the birth of Jesus in December at Christmas, and his suffering, death, and resurrection during Holy Week in the spring. In the ceremony of baptism, a washing away of sin and welcoming into the Christian community recall Jesus' own baptism, when he left his life as a carpenter. In the rite of communion, Christians eat the bread and drink the wine, blessed as the body and blood of Jesus, recalling Jesus' Last Supper. There are 2 billion Christians worldwide, representing almost 1/3 of the world's people. Islam began 1,400 years ago with a man of great virtue, meditating in a mountain cave in the Arabian desert. The man was Muhammad. He was visited by a divine messenger, again the angel Gabriel, in Arabic, Jibril, delivering to him the words of Allah, the one God of Abraham. In the next few years, more and more messages came, and he memorized and taught them. The verses he recited were full of wise sayings, beautiful rhymes, and mysterious metaphors. But Muhammad was a merchant, not a poet. Many agreed the verses were indeed the words of God, and these believers became the first Muslims. The word Muslim means one who surrenders, meaning a person who submits to the will of God. A Muslim's 5 most important duties are called the 5 pillars. Shahada, Muslims declare publicly there is no other God but Allah, and Muhammad is his final prophet. Salat, they pray 5 times a day facing Mecca. Zakat, every Muslim is required to give 2 or 3% of their net worth to the poor. Saum, they fast during daylight hours for the lunar month of Ramadan to strengthen their willpower and their reliance on God. And Hajj, once in a lifetime, every Muslim who is able must make a pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca, rehearsing for the time when they will stand before God to be judged worthy or unworthy of eternal life with him. The words of God, revealed to the prophet over 23 years, are collected in the Quran, which literally translates into the recitation. Muslims believe it to be the only holy book free of human corruption. It's also considered by many to be the finest work of literature in the Arabic language. Islam is the world's 2nd largest religion, practiced by over 1.5 billion Muslims around the globe. Religion has been an aspect of culture for as long as it has existed, and there are countless variations of its practice. But common to all religions is an appeal for meaning beyond the empty vanities and lowly realities of existence, beyond sin, suffering, and death, beyond fear, and beyond ourselves.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. I will keep an assignment where you'll have to write a dialogue based on your topic, and I'll keep a sample itself there. Okay. So that will be the activity. I'll keep a sample itself, and next class I'll give you 5 minutes to compile them only. So don't come and start planning during the class time. Okay. Class time, it's a time for you to like start itself compiling the ideas. Is it fine?
Sir, it's individual work.
Yes, it's an individual work at first, and at last, just compiling means it's a way of exchanging ideas with each other. Okay, that's why only we make that happen. Compiling is not. I'm not trying to say only like Sanvi will do in that group. Whole group has to do it individually because everyone has to learn. At last, we're just saying to like share with each other so that you are learning from each other as well. Is that clear?
Yes,
Especially for
sir.
those who are not able to think anything at all. So you always sometimes learn from your friends and teachers. That's why those things are kept. And finally, at the end, you can share with the teacher, and teacher can give some additional feedbacks. Okay, I will keep that as assignment. Okay, thank you so much. Let's wrap up.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.
Thank you. Yeah, bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Bye,
you,
sir.
sir. Bye, sir.
Yeah, bye bye.
Bye, sir.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, bye.